Huh? But when we give it to our children, it must be relationship. It must be relationship. The way I pray in church, I got to pray at home. Huh? I got about 3 young men that want to get married right now, but God won't release you to marriage yet. Because God says, son, marriage is a lot of responsibility. And if you don't learn how to communicate with me, you won't handle the business right. Huh? And I don't want you to marry anybody. I want to give you one of my best daughters. But you got to be able to take care of her. I don't have no help right there. I'm going to preach all to myself. Religion, my dear brothers and sisters, is something that you and I live for. But relationship we die for. Huh? You got the right relationship, you'll die for it. But religion, we all live for it, and we go through it day to day, day to day. Somebody help me by saying amen. Could you imagine the possibilities? Sit right there, Jabri, between those two mighty men of God. Could you imagine the possibilities of knowing God? Not just reading about what they say about him, but knowing him. I know him for myself. Huh? I used to have monologue with him, but now I have dialogue. Huh? You used to have monologue, me and God. I had a soliloquy. That's when I talk to God, just me. Huh? But now I have dialogue. We talk to each other. Monologue is when you manipulate the conversation and you just tell him all that you want to tell him, and you get up and you run before he talks back to you. That's not relationship. But the secret to my success is dialogue. Tell somebody and tell them the secret to our success is dialogue. You say, I ain't got no success. That's because you don't have no dialogue. You got to have, all men must have dialogue with God. Huh? Yeah, you're going to be broke if you ain't got no dialogue with God. You ain't going to have no friends if you don't have no dialogue with God. You won't have no favor. You'll always be a day late and a dollar short. When you get there, everybody going to always be going. You miss them just by a moment because you ain't had no. Every now and then God tell you, drop everything you're doing and go. Tell somebody, tell them dialogue. Huh? So you got to have dialogue with God because you got to know when to fight. You got to know when to run. Huh? When God tell you fight, you fight. When God tell you run, huh? Grandma say, better say, there he go, than there he lay. Dialogue. When I have a relationship with God, I have dialogue. He talks to me. I talk to him. Have you ever been in a conversation with God and you said something to God and then he said something back to you? You said something to God and he said something back to you? Have you ever told God something and he laughed at you and told you that's ridiculous? Huh? It sounds strange to some people when I tell you can talk to God like that, but you can talk to him. Have I got any witnesses in here? Huh? I never will forget. I never will forget. I was complaining one time to God about my wife. I said, Lord, I tell I'm going to God on you. So I'm going to tell on you. He gave you to me. He got to straighten some of this stuff out. I don't have no help right there. Pastor Reed, I went to God and I told him, I said, look, huh? Oh, wait a minute. He chuckled. God chuckled at me. Huh? He chuckled. Sometimes he'll chuckle, sometimes he'll go silent. And he said, look, son, he said, the one finger you got pointing at her, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. I ain't got no help in here. I ain't mad at nobody. But God can't be persuaded by my conversation. He said, sit down, son. Didn't I tell you to love her like Christ loved the church? I told him, I said, yeah, Lord. And I do it. That's what I do. been there too. I knew I had him then. I told him, I said, that's what I do. He said, but the next part of the verse says, and gave himself. I'm through talking to you. I ain't got no more conversation with you. I'm through. And gave himself. And gave himself. And gave dialogue. You got to have some dialogue with God. Huh? Got to have some dialogue with God. So sometimes it's her. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's both of us. But you'll never know until you have some dialogue with God. Touch somebody and tell them, stay there until you hear something from him. Because, let me have 5 more minutes. Let me have 5 more minutes. I'm glad I stayed. I'm glad I stayed, mother. Brother Brown, I'm glad I listened to God. Because God is the only thing that gets sweeter every day. I ain't got no help right there. I'm going to stop right there. I'm glad if I wouldn't run out of time, I'd shout right there. But I'm running out of time, so I ain't going to dance. He ain't. God is the only thing that gets sweeter than the day before. Oh, I wish I had somebody that I could preach to. Tell somebody, tell them, handle your business. By any means necessary. I just preached myself up on some extracurricular activity. Extracurricular activity. Mother Williams on Sunday. I ain't got no help right here. God don't intend for Christianity and for marriage to be boring. He never intended for it to kill us nor destroy us. Dialogue. Dialogue. You want it, just get you some dialogue. If you need it, just start up some dialogue. You running short in your finances, get you some dialogue. You don't have a wife, get you some dialogue. You need a husband, start up some dialogue. You need some dialogue. Have a little talk with Jesus. Tell him all about your trouble. I don't have no help there. Dialogue. 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 How we going to fix it, Apostle? But we're going to have some dialogue. He going to fix it for us. I was sharing with my wife the other day. Bible said Peter had fished all night long. But dialogue. He's ready to go home with no fish. But dialogue. Dialogue. He's had a talk with Jesus. And so, Jesus, I did it already, but since you cared enough to talk to me about it, let me close, y'all. Let me close. Tell you what I really come to tell you. Let me tell you what I really come to tell you. This thing is wonderful that God has given us. It's magnificent. If we commit ourselves to it, it get crazy. He'll mess you all up. You ain't never had no drunk like you can get drunk with God. Yes, indeedy. And ain't nothing gonna hang over the next day but a blessing. I said, I thought I wouldn't get no more blessings, but I got a hangover. Blessing from yesterday caught me today. I wish I had 3 people that believe that God can give you a hangover. Touch somebody and tell them a good hangover. I got to close, y'all. I got to close. We got to